So we've sold Social Security to Americans with the idea it's like a savings plan, it's a pension plan, a retirement plan. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. And when you think back when they created the program in the 1930s, they didn't have people put money in a lockbox and then have it sit around there until 30 or 40 years later when they retired. They took the dollars from the workers and they gave them to the retirees. When they passed Social Security, retirees started to get benefits right away. Of course, those retirees had never paid into the program. And so that's really how the program functions. We take in dollars from workers, we give them out to retirees. The problem is that there were 16 workers for every retiree the day Social Security was founded. Now we have 3 workers for every retiree, and that number is getting smaller, which makes the math a lot more difficult.
Social Security, in my opinion, is something that allows people to age with dignity. I mean, it's a benefit you get when you get older to help you be able to afford, the everyday expenses in life. And it is something that has helped keep millions of senior citizens out of poverty, and I think it has contributed to people's longevity as well. It's an important, vital program, and it's something I support very much.
So right now we are bringing in a little over $1 trillion, $1.09 trillion from the workers. But we're paying out about $1.15 trillion to the retirees. So we're paying out more than we're bringing in. Now that doesn't make the program insolvent overnight, because we're whittling away at a surplus that we had built up over quite a long time. Sometimes people will say that money was stolen from Social Security. That's total balderdash. We were sitting on a couple $1 trillion. Rather than just have the money sit there and have it get smaller because of inflation, what do? Well, you don't want to put it into anything risky. So we went out and bought treasury bills with it. That's debt that our government uses to fund its operations. So we were earning a return on that. Ultimately, we're whittling away at that large multi-trillion-dollar balance we have of money that was overpaid in over the course of the last 2 decades.
Well, because the money coming in doesn't match the money going out. I mean, we have our population has grown, and more people are retiring and are in need of this benefit, and so the taxes coming in to cover it haven't kept up with that. That doesn't mean it's a bad program. It just means we need to take another look at how we fund it and make sure that it is there for everybody.
When Social Security was founded, the life expectancy for Americans was 60 years, a little higher for women, a little lower for men. Getting to 65 was a real accomplishment, and it was not expected to be the totality of someone's retirement savings. It was a supplement. It was something to help out. And I think we sometimes, I'm not sure we fully appreciate the extent to which longevity has increased in this country. I'll probably live 20 years longer than my grandparents. And that's part of what makes the math fall apart. People are working less long, they're retiring for a lot longer, and that really means the pyramid gets pretty thin in a hurry. I'm not talking about touching benefits for anybody who's receiving them today or anybody who's likely to receive benefits in the near future. But if you're my age, 46, I think we need to be willing to have a conversation as a country about whether or not I should be willing to work an extra 18 months to be able to retire for another 18 years. Our country did that back in 1983. Democrats and Republicans came together. They increased the retirement age for Social Security from 65 to 67 slowly over the course of 20 years. There were not riots in the street, but it kept Social Security alive for decades.
The bottom line is not every job is the same. I mean, you can get elected to Congress and, you can work in this job until you're really, really old, but it doesn't require a lot of manual labor. But if you're a bricklayer, if you're in the construction industry, if you're in, work that a job that requires a lot of physical labor, I mean, your body, you can only take so much. And so I think it's a mistake to raise the retirement age, because it would adversely impact a lot of people who, quite frankly, are unable to continue to work in the job that they made their career out of. So, and again, as a society, we should want people to age with dignity and with economic security. This should not be a radical idea, and our approach to this should be: how do we help people? Not how to. Everything shouldn't be about the bottom line. It should be about the quality of life for people in this country.
We know that most state pension systems that take state employee money and save it for retirement do invest invest some of that into the markets. They're generally not in a risky portfolio, but it's something not that each individual retiree would manage themselves, but that these very competent state asset managers would manage as a part of a broader portfolio. So we know that it can work. I think we really want to be careful about doing anything with Social Security, though, because it's not just one type of employee class. It would be for everybody. And that would put a lot of money in the market. And I think it could have an impact on the market in ways that we don't fully appreciate. So we better make sure that we cut twice, we measure twice before we cut once, the old Carpenter's rule of thumb. The other thing is there's really not money to invest. Remember, we bring in $1 trillion, we pay $1 trillion out. So what are we investing? Unless we get to a point where we're bringing in a lot more money than we're paying out, I'm not sure there'd be a whole lot to invest.
Privatizing Social Security is a lousy idea. I mean, you're saying, you invest your money as you see fit and hope that the stock market takes care of you and everything is beautiful. Well, that's not the way it works. And Social Security is a guarantee. It's not something that if you make the right investments that you get it. If you make the wrong investments, you're out of luck. So we shouldn't be talking about privatizing. What we should be talking about is, the taxable maximum, that in terms of what we tax people on for Social Security, it's at about $160,000. So that means if you earn $160,000, all of your income up to that point is used to figure out how much you pay into the system. But if you're a billionaire, it's still $160,000. So maybe we need to adjust that. And we can adjust it in a way where people, quite frankly, at the top pay a little bit more, and maybe people more at the bottom pay a little bit less.
When we talk about Social Security going insolvent in 2032, that means that for years now, we've been paying out more than we're bringing in. We will have whittled away all of our savings account, and now we can't pay out the benefits we promised to people. It's a real problem. It's coming soon, and we have to address it.
This is funded by the people. We all pay into this system, and it's a good system, and it has served this country well. It has kept a lot of older people out of poverty. And I think our goal in government, quite frankly, should be to make sure that people don't live their final days in poverty. These are the people who have worked for their entire lives. They've worked in our factories, raised our families. They've fought in our wars. I mean, we owe them a debt of gratitude. We all love this country. It's a great country. It is because of these people. And so let's not walk away from them in their golden years.